Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad is widely regarded as a classic in the field of personal finance. Millions of individuals throughout the world have had their perspectives altered after reading this book. With over 32 million books sold in over 109 countries, Rich Dad Poor Dad has been on the New York Times bestsellers list for over 6 years. Many millennials can thank Robert Kiyosaki for helping them understand the concept of money and the distinction between assets and liabilities. In this video, we will discuss the top 8 must-know rules of money as described by Robert Kiyosaki. Stay with us till the end of the video to learn what these rules of money are, understand them, and get your life changed. When it comes to the topic of personal finance, Robert Kiyosaki is a global superstar. He claimed that working a regular 9-to-5 job will not lead to financial success. Here are the new top 8 rules of money as described by the legend himself. 1. Money is knowledge. Financial literacy is not taught at our schools. We are taught that money is the source of all evil in our schools. Nevertheless, in the real world, we need to have a very good understanding of our finances. If we don't, we end up being bankrupt or suffering from depression. Many people experience depression, but not because they lack financial resources. Rather, it stems from a lack of financial literacy. We can better provide for our future wants and needs with the knowledge and skills we gain from financial education. According to Robert Kiyosaki, the only reason the gap between the rich and the poor widens is that the rich are better at managing their money than the poor. But what about the middle class? They waste money trying to impress others with their wealth, and as a result, their actual wealth declines. Your 20s are formative years. That's why it's crucial to prioritize learning about personal finance when you're still in your 20s. 2. Not all debts are bad. Taking on debt is not necessarily a bad thing. Inappropriate usage of debt is problematic. A person's financial situation might improve or worsen depending on their level of debt. You need to learn to use debt, not abuse it if you want to succeed financially. Kiyosaki argues that, contrary to popular belief, not all debt is entirely bad. The first step in a debt strategy is to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt, and how good debt can make you rich, he said. Mortgages used to purchase rental properties are an example of good debt. Having too much credit card debt is an example of bad debt, which occurs when individuals spend more than they earn. Kim and I had lots of bad debt at one time in our lives, and we did 2 things. Systematically paid it off and thought long and hard about accumulating any new bad debt, he said. Most important, we started to look for new and creative ways to make good debt work for us in business and real estate. 3. Learn how to control cash flow. Following the devaluation of the dollar, increasing debt levels among consumers became a primary goal. When you owe money, it drains away from you. Many people nowadays are having financial difficulties as a result of excessive outgoing cash flow and insufficient incoming cash flow. If you want to remain in a stable financial position in the future, you need to figure out how to have more cash flowing into your pocket on a consistent basis. 4. Prepare for the bad times. The last depression made my rich dad very rich and made my poor dad very poor. Each father had a different perspective on the Great Depression. One regarded it as an opportunity, the other as a crisis. Lots of people aren't ready for the downturn. Robert claims that my current success is due to the fact that over 2 decades ago, I began saving money for hard times. Being ready for the worst has helped me succeed in the best of times. Many investors let their emotions guide their investment decisions, and as a result, they bail out of the market when it declines. Still, that's when you might want to consider adding to your stock holdings. The true investors make more when markets crash, Kiyosaki said. 5. The need for speed. One of the reasons some people today make billions while others struggle to make ends meet on $7 an hour is because of variations in processing speed. In today's world, a person's earning potential is directly proportional to his or her ability to close deals quickly. The average medical doctor, for instance, can only treat 1 patient at a time. In terms of future earnings, a high school student with a global web firm that is open 24/7 and has endless consumers stands to make far more than a medical specialist. Web-based work is more ethereal than traditional jobs, while the latter is more grounded in the real world. The creation of wealth by one method of work is exponential, whereas that by the other is linear. People are having trouble making ends meet because they are too slow to compete with the rate at which banks are producing money. Most people are still living in the Stone Age when it comes to financial transactions, such as real estate agents and stockbrokers, who get paid on a commission basis for each individual transaction they complete. Successful business owners of the future will be those capable of and open to rapid adaptation to the ever-shifting landscape of business and finance. As the global economic system accelerated, Money changed from barter to digital currency. People that move at a sluggish pace are being abandoned in today's world. A well-positioned person can conduct business throughout the clock. Making money is not limited to a monthly cycle. The second is just as good. 6. Learn the language of money. When the conspirators took over our educational system in 1903, they substituted the language of money with the language of teachers, including such academic language as algebra and calculus. 90% of people's financial difficulties may be traced back to a lack of education in economic matters. Attitude is everything in life. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you say. This will change how you feel. Those in the upper class use a different set of words than the lower and middle classes. For example, I'm looking for good employees to work for me. I'm looking for a cash-flowing 100-unit apartment house to buy. My exit strategy is to take my company public via an IPO. 7. Life is a team sport, so work with a team. You've launched a business of your own will, but you're having trouble getting it off the ground. Because you're not a true entrepreneur. Rather, you're a solopreneur. A solopreneur is someone who, like a self-employed individual, conducts a business single-handedly and does not employ any other workers. In contrast to the solopreneur who prefers to work alone because he or she doesn't want to split the profits, or because he or she doesn't know how to function as a team, the entrepreneur recognizes that more hands will help him expand his firm. It's impossible to expand a firm on just your own. You need assistance, especially in business and investment, if you want to succeed. According to Kiyosaki, the reason why employees and self-employed people often lose against business owners and investors is because they are individuals playing against a whole team. 8. Make mistakes and learn from them. There is a crisis of financial education and incompetence in the world today. Since a lack of financial education is largely responsible for our current woes, it stands to reason that the same education may help us escape it. Our politicians are trying to address our financial woes by employing the same sort of thinking that led to them in the first place. It's better if you adopt than wait for them to make the necessary adjustments. By shifting your perspectives and your academic pursuits, you can become better versions of yourselves. The fact that youngsters are taught to avoid making mistakes is the largest flaw in our educational system. Unfortunately, the system's approach to correcting children's mistakes is more about punishment than it is about helping them grow from their mistakes. A smart individual understands that it is through failure that we grow. Bicycle riding instruction consists of primarily falling off and getting back up. People can't get better at managing their finances if they're too afraid to make mistakes. This was all about Robert Kiyosaki's 8 rules of money. Hope you enjoyed the video. Keep the comment box ticking with your opinions. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.